What's up, everyone? This is Nate, and I'm back with another one of my 31 Days of Horror recaps. Every week, I have been going through everything I have watched for that week. So 7 movies and 7 quick 45-second to 1-minute reviews. Now, before I get into what I watch and give you my scores, if you would, please consider subscribing to the channel if you don't already. Just hit that bell icon. That way you get notified every time we drop new videos. And if you wouldn't mind, just giving me a thumbs up and a comment down below if you like any of these movies, if you dislike any of these movies, if you agree or disagree with me, let me know in the comments down below. All right, first up that I watched is going to be a little movie from the 80s called The Lost Boys. Now, this one is not one that I watch very often. It's not like a constant rewatch for me. I've only seen it twice, and it's good. It's a good, fun 80s vampire movie. Cool young cast. You got both of the Coreys, Feldman and Haim. You got a young Jamie Gertz, who, of course, I grew up knowing from Twister, but she was in this as well. Kiefer Sutherland, Jason Patric. So yeah, a good, fun vampire movie. Kind of a horror, more of a horror comedy than just a straight up horror movie, but it's a good time. I enjoy it. Visually, it has a lot of style to it, but it's not the greatest or anything like that in my opinion. I give that one like a 7 out of 10. I think it's good. Next up is another 80s movie. This one is called Ghoulies, and this is easily the winner for the worst movie that I have watched so far in the 31 Days of Horror. And as a matter of fact, I don't think it will be beaten. I think this will end up being the worst movie that I watch out of these 31 movies. I absolutely hated it. It is a terrible movie. It is a B movie that knows it's a B movie, but it's still not good. Like, it is horrible. The puppets, they look like hand puppets. It looks like there's someone just below the screen with their hand in the thing, like doing this. The storyline is wackadoo. The acting's not good. I liked nothing about it. I give it a 1 out of 10. Like, I would give it a 0. I'm trying to avoid giving zeros. It's a 1 because at least some people worked on it. It is horrible. I really hated that movie. I will definitely be getting rid of that. I will not be keeping it. Next one that I watched is Event Horizon. So now we're going to the 90s. A little 90s stretch that I have coming up. This movie's good. I enjoy that one. Sam Neill, Lawrence Fishburne, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. And probably one of his best movies in my opinion. A pretty cool sci-fi horror set in space on a spaceship with this portal that goes to another dimension, pretty much hell. It goes to hell. And they think, they're trying to develop this thing so it can like jump through wormholes, but it leads to a lot of other stuff. And there's some really crazy imagery in that, some solid gore, a good sci-fi. I mean, if you like sci-fi, it's like a horror sci-fi movie. So it's a good mix. I mean, not amazing, but a good fun movie. Another one that I would give a 7 to. Next on the list is I Know What You Did Last Summer, another 90s movie. So I'll be honest, I have a soft spot for these movies. I did grow up. I saw them a lot when I was growing up. This came out when I was 10. And I want to say I probably saw it close to when I was around that age on TV, maybe 10 or 11, maybe 11. Of course, a great young cast. Jennifer Love Hewitt, Freddie Prinze Jr., Sarah Michelle Gellar, Ryan Phillippe. Love them all. Bridget Wilson, I always had a crush on when I was younger. She plays the older sister of Sarah Michelle Gellar, so she's in there as well. And Heche. I don't care. I love that movie. I think it came out like off the heels of Scream, so obviously... And Kevin Williamson wrote it, who also wrote Scream. But it has solid direction. Visually, I like the way it looks. I like the setting. I always thought when I was a kid that it was like somewhere in like New England. It's set in North Carolina. But in a little coastal town near the water. And the killer with the hook, these kids, they run over a guy. They think he's dead. It turns out he's not dead. And he comes back for revenge a year later. It's a simple premise, but I enjoy it. I like the cast. I don't care. I like that movie. 8 out of 10. I Know What You Did Last Summer is a good time. Next, I watched I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. And this one, I do know a few people who like this one more than the original. I'm not in that camp. I never really understood that. This one, like, the premise is way more far-fetched than the first one. The first movie, like, you can hit a person with a car, think they're dead, dump the body, they're not dead, and they come back for, like, it makes sense. This one, there's so much stuff that happens early on in the setup. It's like, no, there's no way. So in this time, you have Jennifer Love Hewitt back. Obviously, you don't have Sarah Michelle Gellar or Ryan Phillippe back, but you do get Freddie Prinze Jr. back. And then Brandy. Brandy's actually pretty fun in this movie. Mekhi Phifer. But yeah, there's just too many plot, like, conveniences that I don't like. This one has a higher body count. Like, more people die in it than the first movie. But they're also, like, inconsequential people. They're not... One of the reasons I like the first movie is like some important characters kind of bite it. And in this one, it's more like just fodder. It's just people who are just there to die. Jack Black's pretty funny in it. I do like it. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to sound too negative. I just don't like it as much as the first. A 6 out of 10 for me. It's a solid sequel. There's a reason why they didn't keep making them. And it's not because this one was better than the first one. So that's just my opinion on that. Next up is a movie called Crawl. And this movie's fun. This movie's a lot of fun. Alex Aja directed it. Of course, Hills Have Eyes and High Tension, Mirrors, some good stuff. And then he did a couple of water movies. He had Piranha, 3D. And then this one's fun. I live in Florida, if you don't know. And this one's set in Florida during hurricane season. And there's alligators get loose when this girl goes to check on her dad. And it's a good creature feature. Some really solid, some of the effects, most of them look good. There's one or two that look a little bit wonky, but for the most part, there's some good jump scares, mostly jump scares. These alligators just be coming out of nowhere, chomping people, but good gore, good performances. Barry Pepper, my main man, Barry Pepper is in this. Yeah, I like it. I think it's solid, good. It's like 85 minutes or 87 minutes, something like that. 7 out of 10, fun time. And last, the movie I just watched today, The Fun House. This is 1981. Tobe Hooper, of course, director of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And this movie is a snoozer. It is boring. The first 45 minutes, nothing I'm not even exaggerating. Nothing happens. These kids go to a carnival and they walk around the carnival for like half an hour. I kid you not. They just go to exhibits. Like they go to see the little shrunken bodies and they go to see cows with 2 heads and they go to, go on the funhouse ride and they go like nothing. They just go to a carnival and it's not very fun. They're not funny. They're not saying anything funny. They're not doing anything interesting. They're just walking around a carnival, going on carnival attractions. About 45 minutes in, the horror stuff starts happening, but then everything is just dragged. Every scene is dragged out to the longest possible limit. So like if there's a chase scene, it goes on for so long that by the time the climax happens, it's like, oh my God, thank you. I just was thankful when things would happen because nothing was happening for most of the time. Good makeup effects. Rick Baker, I know, did the effects for the creature in this movie. Solid, not amazing. It does kind of look goofy. Like it does look like just a guy in a big mask. But I'll give that one like a 3 out of 10. It's not that fun. Some of all the kills happen in quick succession and they're not that great. So 3 out of 10. Probably another one I'll be getting rid of. So anyway, that's what I watched this week. Some good, some not so good, and one horrible. So I'm looking forward. Next week will be my wrap up, my final 7 movies. Until then, take it easy.